Wolf Brewery, Santa Paws.
And remember, life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. I've got one here from the Wolf Brewery, based up there in Norfolk. And I have to say, I do like these. They do some really good beer. And just to bear me out on that, they have won quite a lot of awards on their beer. And I've recently tried the Edith Cavell, which was really nice. I tried the Sirius Dog Start, which was absolutely amazing stuff. And now I've got some of this Christmas beer from them. Now, what turned me onto this was the description, and I'll get onto that a bit later, but it does sound right up my street, and it does sound like a typical British Christmas beer. Now, these lot have been going since 1995, and that's a relatively short time when it comes to British brewers. And they do the traditional range of British beers. They do a red ale, they do a bitter, they do a mild, they do what I class as a ruby ale, they do bitters, so it's that sort of brewery. And they've got, I don't think they've got pubs, but they supply to the pubs in the locality as well. They do a lot of cask beer too, which is really good. And generally, they're all round good eggs. And they use local ingredients. Unfortunately, they don't give you any brew sheet, or they don't tell you what's going into the beer, so I can't really give you a sort of a heads up on what's in the beer. But it does look good. So let's investigate the beer. Right, it is 4.5%. It's a 500ml bottle. It's called Santa Paws. Oh, for fuck's sake, I hate Christmas.
An ant is what it is, and a grasshopper is what it is, and Christmas, sir, is a humbug. Good day.
There is the label. And the description, the cap's just plain red. There's nothing on there at all. The description, this is what made me want to buy it. And it's the sort of thing I'm into when it comes to beer. Certainly British beer anyway. It says a warm chestnut coloured ale with fresh caramel chocolate, with a fresh caramel chocolate taste and a smooth, bitter, dry finish. You can't go wrong with that. And coming from this lot, I'd say that they're pretty decent. Now, I have been unlucky with beers in these last few days. I had one from Hook Norton, which had a metallic taste to it that really wasn't good. And then I had quite a few beers that I paid a fair amount for from Bavaria. And there was a theme running through all of them, and they were from different breweries, but they all had like a very sulphurous type flavour to them, which was a bit disconcerting because I've never had that from a beer, certainly from Germany, before. And I told a mate of mine, a German mate, and he basically came out with a very true statement. He said, not all beer from Bavaria is good, which is a fair comment. You know, you can't have a beer from a certain region and every single beer being great. But this was really... It was really uncanny. It was just every beer had this horrible taste to it. In fact, the beers I've been trying lately, they've not been that great. And I've had to mark them down. The only things that haven't let me down are the Belgian beers. But hopefully, this will restore my faith in British beer. Right, let's get it open. As I said, red cap, nothing to see here. This is about cellar temperature. This room's quite warm. It's freezing out here, so I've got the heating on, and I've left it out for a bit. So what are we getting on the nose? Please be a good one. Well, fucking hell. State of that, look. I've cocked that right up now. I can sort of see what they're saying with the dried fruit and the caramel as well. It does smell nice, but the aromas aren't big. But I have been proved wrong in the past. You know, big aroma does not necessarily mean big flavour, and no aroma does not necessarily mean bad beer. It's a good indicator though, I will say that. I'm getting a little bit more of that chocolate note that they're talking about now, and I'm getting a little bit of fucking foam on my nose. Interesting. Now, I tried the Hook Norton Christmas beer, the Greedy Goose stuff, and that had a horrible metallic taste to it. I didn't get that on the aroma, so please don't have this metallic taste, because if you do, I'm going to start questioning whether there's something wrong with my taste buds. Surely that beer, all that beer, cannot be that bad. Anyway, let's get it down the hatch. Bottoms up. Not bad. Oh, bitterness on the finish as well. Oh, spicy bitterness. And there's big chocolate and caramel on that, as they say. Cool, that finish really does last long. Now, it doesn't make any mention of this being bottle conditioned, so I'm just going to get everything in there. But I have to say, the head retention on this is amazing. Oh, that's nice, yeah. That's really good. That is what I would be expecting from a British Christmas beer, or an English Christmas beer. Caramel malt, hints of chocolate on there, dark chocolate, and the finish is just hop, spicy bitterness, which is really nice. There's some dried fruit in between all that. Dried dark fruit, you know, like figs and dates, the usual vine fruit dark vine fruit that you get on Christmas beer. And I really like it. This is a good one. I think they said that this was full-bodied. Where did I read that, or did I? Was I imagining stuff? Yeah, a full-bodied ale with a malt and fruit aroma. There's a fair amount of body to it. I wouldn't say it's full-bodied. It's doing just enough to not be weak-bodied, if you know what I mean. But I have to say, the flavours on it, even though there wasn't much aroma, it's quite nice. I'm loving the bitterness on that finish. It really does last long. It just goes on and on and on, and it makes the chocolate malt seem a bit more intense on that. There's a little bit of roasted malt on there too, so you're getting dark chocolate bordering on coffee. But I have to say, that is not too bad at all. So what's the verdict on the Santa Paws from the Wolf Brewery? Yeah, this is another good one from that lot, and if it wasn't for Beers of Europe, I probably never would have tried any of their beers, because, as I say, and I really hate repeating this, but you just don't get this stuff down here in the south. Yeah, you do get a lot of local beers, but you just don't get this sort of stuff, and that's a real shame, because there's some of these breweries out here in the UK that just are so regional that they really don't travel outside of their own locality, and that's a shame. You know, thank fuck for Beers of Europe, because I have discovered quite a few beers from them, and they do make a point of getting a lot of their local brewers, getting their beer on their site. Now, I've tried some of them, and they haven't been that great. There's others that have been just okay. But I have to say, the Wolf Brewery have been consistently good. And I can see the number of awards they've won, camera awards and stuff like that. Not these 2 bob awards you pay for, but they have won quite a few. And it if it's going by stuff like this, it's well deserved. This is a really good one. Oh yeah, that's really good. It really is a good winter beer. But what makes it really nice for me is that spicy, bitter finish on the arse end. That's really good. I'm going to give that an 8.5 out of 10. And yeah, I'll recommend this if you can get it on Beers of Europe. I'm not sure whether they still got it in stock or not. I'm sure they can order some in if you ask them nicely. But this is worth it. I think I paid $2.50 or $2.60 for it. I can't remember. But it's worth checking out. And if you really want to, if you're from around that area and you really want to support local brewers, check this lot out, because their beers are consistently good. In fact, I'm trying to think of a bad one that I've had from them, and I can't. So that does say something. So yeah, that for me is a winner. It's 8.5 out of 10, and that is recommended. And remember, beer is working class champagne.